it's entitled Divine Communication, Human Reception. And I think one of the things we often hear people say when we talk about God is they say, I wish God would talk to me. You know, wouldn't it be nice if he would just say what he wanted? Then I would do it if he just told me what he wanted. Well, this lesson's going to talk about how God does talk to us. And mostly, it's not God's fault, it's our fault. That second part is human reception, how we're going to receive what he says to us. It starts with a verse that's very familiar, I believe, to everybody here. And it's probably very familiar even to kids. And it's the story of Samuel. It says, and the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, speak, for thy servant heareth. Now, I know that most of us know who Samuel is, but let's just do a real quick summary. Who is Samuel? He's in the Bible. You can pretty much guess that, right? If it's a Sabbath school lesson, we're going to be talking about someone in the Bible. So let's see. Jonathan, can you tell me who Samuel is, just very briefly?
And we need to pass this around so Zoom can hear.
Okay, so we're passing the mic so everybody can hear.
He was a prophet in the Old Testament.
Did he start off as a prophet?
No,
How did he come into being?
because his mother promised him to the temple,
Right.
the tabernacle.
Right. His mother couldn't have a baby, and she wanted a baby very badly. And so she prayed, and she said, you know, Lord, if you give me a baby, I will give him back to you, and you can have him for the rest of his life. And so that's what happened. And so this first verse talks about when the Lord spoke to Samuel. Now, we're not going to go into that whole story. We could be here probably for a sermon on every single point in this lesson, but that's not the idea, right? We want to kind of zip through the lesson, but definitely there's a lot more for us to study. The note says that we should live in close communion with God. Do you think Samuel lived in close communion with God? I mean, God spoke to him, right? So he lived in very close communion with God. It says the joy of the Christian arises from a sense of God's love and care for his children, and the assurance that he will not leave them alone in their weakness. The Lord never withholds his wisdom from those who are truly consecrated. Those who fear him and seek him daily walk in security. I want to stop there for a minute. They walk in security. Is that what you hear in today's world, that everybody is very secure? No. I looked up statistics, and we all know statistics can be used for whatever we need them for, right? But about 20% of our population here in the United States suffers from anxiety. And we're not talking anxiety like, as a kid we talk about the butterflies in your stomach. I mean, I had a lot of anxiety as a child, but we're not really talking about just those little butterflies in your stomach. When we're talking about anxiety, we're talking full-on anxiety, which is crippling, right? It's where you can't do what you need to do because you're so scared. And yet here it says that those who fear God and seek him daily, they walk in security. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Yeah. We don't have to be afraid. And I know that's been a big part of my growing in the Lord. It is the men who humble themselves, even as a little child, who are taught by God. The man who does not exalt himself can fill a place in God's plan that no self-sufficient man, however learned and well-prepared he may think himself, can fill. It makes every difference whether a man walks with God or whether he is satisfied to walk with himself, trusting in his own abilities. We have two paths, right? We have two very different paths. We have one path, which is what? People who do what? Trust God, right? They trust God, they give everything to him, they walk in security because they know that he's taking care of them, he's directing them, he's leading them. And you have the other person who chooses to what?
Go their own way.
Do it all by themselves, right? And that person, are they secure? It's kind of tricky. Because I think that person probably thinks they're secure. I think that person probably thinks they're doing okay. They've got it all. Maybe they have the money, they have the house, they have the lands, they have whatever they want. They have it, right? But is that what we're talking about in this lesson? Is that the security we're talking about? I mean, all of that can be gone in a moment. I mean, think about the Great Depression. In one moment, people who had everything all of a sudden had nothing. We read the other day, they were happy for a job washing windows. All that stuff can be gone in an instant. And one of the things I hold on to is that God doesn't change. He is the same yesterday, today, forever. Everything around us may change. Our marital status may change, our children may be gone, our husband may have, lack of job, we may have health issues, whatever it is, God doesn't change. He is the same. What a beautiful thing it is to be able to have divine communication with the Creator who loves us. What a beautiful thing. Christian, can we get a mic for you?
Yeah, I really love this here too. That says that the joy of the Christian arises from a sense of God's love and care for His children. And so the joy, when you have a sense of God's love and the love that He has for me personally, and I'm His child, He cares for me, then that just brings joy. No matter what happens, and no matter what state we're in, and physically or whatever. But that joy comes from His love and being able to know and understand just a little bit about that love is directed to me, and not just to me, but to everybody. And that's where joy is.
Very good. And does that love change? When we have children, some days they're really rotten, and we just want to. We don't want to strangle them because that's not very nice. But we want to think it.